Welcome back to Rupolding, just moments away before the start of the 5th pursuit event of the season. Leading the standings in the pursuit, none other than Raphael Poré with 176 points. Fischer just 10 points behind him. Hjelland in 3rd. Oleana Bjorndalen in your picture. He lies in 4th place in the standings, but he did miss out one of the pursuit events away performing in the cross-country World Cup. Now, Poré. Very good form indeed. He's got a comfortable lead now at the top of the World Cup standings. He starts 4 seconds behind Bjorndalen. The first time this season we get to compare the two best biathletes as far as their ski speed goes. What tactics is this man going to use today?
I think he's going to set out so hard to try and crack 10-15 seconds off Poré, but he may suffer in the range by doing that. Keen to get away.
Away we go. Bjorndalen first, Poré second. Incredible form yesterday in the sprint. He's been ill for the last 10 days, got out of his bed and produced an astonishing performance. So Poré chasing down, and now a little bit of a breather. Time to top up your drink, whatever it might be. 26 seconds before Villemot. His best result ever yesterday. Can he improve on it today? It's a tall ask. He's got 30 seconds or so to make up on the two top men. And he's got to fight off a number of Norwegians starting behind him. Hjelland and Berger going 4 and 5, 33 and 34 seconds behind the leaders. Then the first of the Germans, Rico Gross. Can he get another pursuit win? He's already got 3 to his name. Perner for Austria, brilliant run from him yesterday. Mickey Grice goes 9. Sergei Roshkov, the Russian, always enjoys the pursuits. He starts in 9th position. Schlesinger of the Czech Republic, Mike starts 10, only 21, the youngest man in the front of the field.
A great result, and we've another Czech further back, the young man, first World Cup, 29th, Moravec. 2 of them doing well.
Sven Fischer just going out of your picture. He's underway. He won the first 2 pursuits of the season, and he came from 10th to win in Oslo, I think it was, the 2nd pursuit of the year. Came from 10th up into 1st, so don't write him off. He started down in 13th today.
Sikora said he would be on much better ski form after Christmas. Well, his shooting's still brilliant, but the skiing's a little slower.
The Pole, Sikora, starting 23, ahead of Huriat and Robert of France, who starts 25. Stian Ekhoff, the young Norwegian, lost places down in 26th position. He's got to gain some points to climb back up the World Cup order into the top 5. Rishenkov, Brissis, Moravec and Jay Hakkinen and Tila go off together, the 2 Americans. That's going to be an interesting duel. Now down to Bozins and Derry Zemlya of the Ukraine. The Ukrainian team showed good signs in Oberhof. Can they keep that sort of form going here?
Yeah, that's the strength of the Ukrainian team is their shooting, and today it's all about dealing with the bigger increased pressure because it's head-to-head racing.
So a chance just to calm down. Most of the starters underway. 2 minutes separating the top 50 runners. And Mike, just talk us through the format here in the men's pursuit.
So we have the 2 kilometres, which we're getting a chance to see the steep hills right now. You then come down the steep hill. There's a 40-second recovery from the high point until you land on the mat. 2.5 kilometres you come in, then you shoot in the lying down position. A further 2.5 Ks, shoot in the lying down position again. The same sequence of 2.5s with 2 standing shoots and a final 2.5 kilometres to the finish. So it really is about being able to do this part, the skiing, to a high standard and controlling yourself to hit the targets when you come into the range.
So 4 shoots in all, 20 targets to be hit. First 2 in the pro, second 2 in the standing, and then that mad dash to the line, 2,500 metres now. What's going on at the front? Poré looks as though he's trying to get on terms with Bjorndalen, but totally focused as ever. The best 2 technicians on skis, almost without a doubt. I think Berger is approaching that, but Berger's a tall, lanky figure. His advantage is he can take strides that are 6-7 inches longer than anyone else.
Yeah, Berger is going to be exciting. Number 5, he missed 3 targets and finished only 34 seconds behind.
There goes Berger, 5. He's already gone ahead of Hjelland, who's wearing bib number 4. Rico Gross, look as though he's working very hard for Germany, and this is where he wants to put in his best race of the season.
Indeed, Rico doesn't have the form really to be staying with the pack he's in, so just wondering if that's going to push him a little bit too hard. But he is a master of the pursuit, Rico Gross.
Now, Bjorndalen and Poré head-to-head at the front. Bjorndalen pulling away a little. I think we expected that. But I guess Poiret's tactics are just stay in touch, because he's fairly confident he can outshoot the Norwegian. Bjorndalen's record in the prone position, 88% this year. Poiret's 92%. And then in the standing, the Frenchman has an even bigger advantage, 85% to 72%. So I think there'll be a few short nails in Oslo as they're chewing away, nervously watching this one. But if Bjorndalen doesn't perform, they then get Kjelland, who's beautifully consistent, and then Berger, where you never quite know what's coming from him.
But look at him, we know that he skis fast. He's pulled back 9 seconds on Bjorndalen already. And makes it look so easy. That's his skill, is the balance and the gliding factor.
Well, Berger, leading this group, was ill at the beginning of the season, went to Ramsau to compete in the cross-country World Cup along with Bjorndalen. Didn't quite get the result he was after, but he hadn't fully recovered from his illness. I think it would be worth putting money on him taking medals in the World Championships for the cross-country.
Well, indeed, the ski speed is phenomenal, and looking at the Norwegian cross-country results, especially in the skating, they don't have the big names they used to have, and Lars Berger would certainly help, in the relay especially, help to carry them to medals.
Incidentally, if you're a betting man or woman, then you'll only get odds of 2.1 to 1 for Bjorndalen, 2.8 for Poiret, and then further down the field, 10 to 1 for Rico Gross. That's not a bad bet, and 12 to 1 for Egil Kjelland.
Well, certainly the Rico Gross is a good bet, because he's on home ground. He did miss one target yesterday, which is unusual, but Rico can focus for the big occasion, and for him this is a big deal.
Well, a number of sights, Mike. A little stumble there coming up. No time really lost, though.
Significant. I think the pressure is on Bjorndalen more so than Poiret. It's Poiret's advantage to come in behind Bjorndalen as he's just taking his rifle off, beginning to get the magazine out of its housing. Vuillermo, that was a great result yesterday for the Italian.
And he's still skiing well, just 29 seconds down. Consider he started 26 behind, so he's holding his own against the likes of Poiret, just losing a little bit of ground to Bjorndalen. Kjelland, 34 seconds behind now. He started 33, so he's skiing every bit as good as Ole Einar Bjorndalen. Great to see so many nations represented in the top 8 positions. Austria, Germany, Norway, Italy, France, and then Russia down in 9th with Sergei Rozhkov. And they've also got the old man, Sergei Chepikov, the Russian colonel, coming through into 10th position.
Well done, Chepi. We know that Chepi's going to shoot well.
So, first shoot. Bjorndalen's prone last year was a disaster. He's tidied it up this season. Oh, excellent start. Real pressure now on Poiret. He knows he's got to perform. Took his time on the first shoot. No panic as yet from the Frenchman. Shot full, almost shot for shot. It sounded like a hit, Mike, but the target has stayed standing. So Poiret with one penalty loop to do now. What can Berger do? Oh. 4 out of 5, not bad by Berger standards. Vuillermo also making his first mistake. Rico Gross, the best shot on the men's tour, and he's done it again. 5 out of 5, easy as you like. Great shooting from Gross. That's just what we need to get the crowd going. They were disappointed not to have any Germans in the top 3 of the women's event. Mickey Grice also going clear for Germany. Good run from him. Always think of him as a youngster, but he is in fact now 28 years old, in his prime. Rozhkov and Chepikov, 5 apiece. The 2 Russians keep their charge going.
Hannibal just come in, hasn't started yet. And remember, we've got Anderson right down in start number 58. That could keep things alive at the back. But when you're further back in that field, there's only 20 seconds separating position 30 to position 50. So you have a huge amount of fighting going on in the tracks. Hannibal, his shooting is really going off the boil a little bit, missing one again.
He's lost form, and if he's not careful, he's going to find himself hovering on the brink of being dropped from the A-team, but I think we're a while away from there. Stian Ekhoff, Mike, bad race yesterday. He's gone clear on the first prone. Can certainly pull himself up, the young Norwegian, who's in the top 5 of the World Cup standings. And so far, Norway and Germany, the two strongest teams. France, as always, represented by Poiré at the lead group. But Vincent Defrain might clear on that first shoot. 1:14 behind now. And he started down in 15th. He's already made up 4 places.
It's respectable. Sven Fischer from 13th to 12th, hitting all the targets. Ski speed not as good as it was last week.
Well, 4 of the top 8 clear on that first shoot. Poiré, 1 mistake. Berger, 1 mistake. Now 55 seconds down. He's got to do all the hard work again. It must be very depressing indeed. Wolfgang Perner, rare mistake from him, and Schlesinger of the Czech Republic dropping 4 places because of his miss. 1:27 down and really out of the heat at the front of the race. Well, that's the first shoot completed. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll bring you all the news of what happens while you're away. Do stay with us. The remaining 3 shoots still to come. Men's pursuit now well underway. The first of 4 shoots completed, and Rico Gross skiing very well indeed. Has overtaken Raphael Poiré, but out the front at the last count was Ole Einar Bjorndalen. He's gone through in 10:37. A gap has been opened. 43 seconds, Mike. He's gone clear on his first prone, but I wouldn't put too much money on him staying clear for the rest of the day.
No, it's a tough call to hit the 20 out of 20. Look at Berger, though. He's again closing down the time, moving up positions. This was 1 penalty as well.
Yeah, Berger needs to go clear on the next prone and put himself up the front. And if he can be within 15 seconds of the lead at the end of the last shoot, then he's got a very good chance of pulling it back from there.
Absolutely. Perner dropped down 3 places to 10th. Sven Fischer, exactly the same, but not quite the skiing power he had just recently. It's amazing how your form can drop off in just 4 or 5 days.
But he was in such good form in the early part of the season. There's no way you can keep a peak going for 4 months. And maybe his idea was to peak early, have a rest from it, drop down a little, and then come up for the beginning of March and the World Championships. Have a look at Rico Gross leading this pack. He's one of the power skiers compared to the floaters like Poiré and Bjorndalen.
And a great contrast there. Look at the width of Rico's skis, the width of Poiré's skis. Poiré dropping all his body weight onto that left leg.
Lars Berger still looking very smooth. Got Mickey Grice on his tail. Villamo of Italy goes through, still in the top 6 positions, and then a massive biathletes coming through in the chasing group. None of these men will have quite given up the hope of winning, and this man certainly hasn't. Look at the determination.
Do you get the impression that he's beginning to wind this up? Again, I think he had the discipline to take the first 2.5 well within himself, and that's a change in psychology.
I think he's learned something. Bjorndalen finished 4th in Oberhof last week, started 4th, finished 4th, but missed 6 targets, and really that was his undoing. In the World Championships, Bjorndalen missed 6 as well last year, which handed the win to Gross, who overtook Poiré on the last shoot. That was one of the highlights of last season. And an extraordinary situation. Poiré in the range, 35 seconds clear of Rico Gross, but he couldn't pull the trigger.
It's rare that you get such a paralysis on the range. You know you have to shoot fast. I think on that day, Poiré stood on the standing shooting mat for 1 minute 35 seconds. And 35 of those seconds were to get the last shot.
Have a look at the gaps between the skiers. 46 seconds now between Bjorndalen and Gross. Gross and Poiré having another duel. Berger is closing down. Was 55, now 48. He's coming back into the picture. Mickey Grice being dragged along by the big Norwegian. That's a good run from Grice, but watch his second prone shoot, which will be coming up very shortly. So Bjorndalen settled already. Well, he's still going to hold on to the lead, but he could lose 25 seconds of it. The other skiers are a little depressed to see that Bjorndalen disappearing before they even come in to shoot. Well, what is so different about this man skiing? His balance is obviously brilliant.
He's just got an incredible lightness on his skis, so he's not forcing, like pushing weights. He's not muscling too much. It's explosive, so which aids recovery once you put the workload into your muscle.
So important shoot then. Berger, Gross, Poiré, Grice, all with a chance of closing to within 30 seconds of the lead. Great shooting from Berger. Down goes number 5, he's back in contention. Poiré is also clear. Gross, slow, deliberate, effective. Yet again, it's the same old routine that's worked for Gross for the last 12 years. And he comes out still on the heels of Raphael Poiré. Excellent situation, approaching the halfway stage. And not a lot to separate 2, 3 and 4. But Bjorn Dahlen, 25 seconds clear. One shot.
It's certainly by no means over yet. Well, Berger is, for me, the most exciting biathlete. You don't know whether he's going to hit them all. Miss one, but he skis fast.
France is clear again. Hieland also, and a big cheer going up as the great Sven Fischer clears his 5 targets and gets a little closer to the leaders. Fischer started in 13th, should just about get himself into the top 10 with that performance. Jay Häkkinen from the United States seems to have stolen a march on his teammate Jeremy Thiele, who started with him. But a mistake from Häkkinen, so he could drop down outside the top 20 again. Here's Bjorn Dahlen, second prone shoot.
I like the way he's built his hand balance part on the rifle stock wider than anybody else. This is a change. In the past you weren't allowed to add any add-ons, but the rules are allowing a little bit of freedom in the thinking on how to design your stock.
Also allowed to deepen the stock, which aids the standing position shoot, particularly if you've got short arms.
Indeed, it prevents the twist on your hips or into your back, tension through the back muscles. You could say slightly easier than 3 years ago to shoot in the standing. The statistics don't show that, though.
Roger Gruben of the Norwegian team, happy with the way things are going. Ole Einar Bjorn Dahlen, Mike, getting his own shooting coach this year, which is a big step.
And his own wax technician. I believe a building firm have sponsored him to give the best backup he can get.
So there are the standings, top 8 after the second shoot. The Norwegians now 1 and 2. Berger going ahead of Raphael Poiré. Poiré and Gross, their duel continues. Sven Fischer has climbed into the top 10. First time today. Sergei Chepikov made a charge early on, back down to 11th where he started. So all to play for here, only 25 seconds separating the top 2 positions. But it is Ole Einar Bjorn Dahlen, the Olympic champion, who leads the way. Halfway stage of this men's pursuit, the final race here in Rupolving. It's been an excellent week, varied weather conditions. We've saved the best for last. Big high coming over the Bavarian Alps, and well, that was a bit high for Bjorn Dahlen as well. That third shot going wild, back down low. The consistency not good, the grouping not good, Mike, but he's still cleared 4 out of 5.
Well, I got an email from Roger Roberts, and he reckons a lot of the Norwegians are snatching their triggers. He's been watching. He is an expert. Interesting there. And the indication of missing high, as we saw beyond Dahlen, could well be a snatch at the trigger.
Well, watch the trigger finger, I'm trying to say, on the next shoot. We'll get a good close-up of Ole Einar Bjorn Dahlen. He should come in first, but Berger and Poiré both closing down on Bjorn Dahlen now. You can see the gap down to 19.2 seconds. And before they come in, Mike, there was an all-stars race last night that was televised in Germany. It included the likes of Frank Luck, our expert, and Magdalena Forsberg put the skis back on, had another competition. 6 million viewers in Germany. That was the pool. The embarrassing thing was it got more viewers than the men's sprint earlier in the day, which still picked up 33% of the German audience. That's a measure of how enormous biathlon is as a sport in this part of the world.
Unbelievable, the numbers watching on various different channels. Biathlon has captured this nation when it's beating even the football for major championship viewing figures. It's a big deal over here. Poiré, I'm just wondering, he's in his mind is so strong. He said, I am going to stay with Berger this lap. It could be his undoing coming into the first stand.
Well, it could be Berger's undoing as well, because he wants to try and break away from the Frenchman. So those two getting caught in a dangerous situation. If you were going to put money on one of them hitting the targets, it would be the Frenchman, whatever the situation, because Berger's been spraying them around a little this year. He's had some good races, but only 1 in 5 going his way. This man, 4 wins already this year, must have thought that he had a chance of taking the overall. I don't think Bjorn Dahlen's interested in the overall World Championships this year. He wants medals in Hogfilsen at the Biathlon World Championships, and he wants a medal, particularly a gold one, at the cross-country World Championships. Don't rule him out. I think Berger's practically the only man who could beat him.
It does appear that way now, and Bjorn Dahlen's form isn't fluctuating. He did appear a little tired yesterday, and when he first came into the World Cup Tour, he wasn't strong over a 4-week racing period, but he's developed that power as the years have gone by.
He is one of the most powerful men on the tour.
Just looking further down, Patrick, Sheresov is the biggest climber so far. He's moved all the way in from the 30s, 38 up to 15th.
So Sheresov going well. In fact, the Russians often do good races in this when they've been out of contention. Now, hold your breath, hold on to your seat. If you're a Bjorn Dahlen fan, this could be a make or break. First of the standing chutes. Here we go. Well, match that if you can, Poirier and Berger, because that is an outstanding performance. He's taken a little bit of the pressure off himself. Poirier settles now. First shot goes down for both Poirier and Berger. Now, I have to eat my words, because Poirier, 2 mistakes. I wonder whether that is the actual situation of them letting the rounds go at exactly the same time. Rico Gross with an opportunity, certainly to move ahead of Poirier, almost to catch Berger.
Well, Poirier pushed so hard out in the track, and it did seem to be his undoing.
You read that one perfectly, Mike. Gross, you would expect to hit 5, and he's done exactly that. He joins the top 3. Could, in fact, be right on the heels of Lars Berger. That will be a test for Rico as he tries to stay with the Norwegian. Rojkov, he's making ground all the time. One mistake. That's a disadvantage. Defra of France, Mike, he's been clear all day and slowly climbing up through the order. Started 15th, 1 minute 13 behind. His time won't be that much different, but he's certainly overtaken a number of the top skiers. Fischer getting reaction from the crowd. 2 more to go.
Very good from Sven. He's tripping over the mat. There's so much going on the range. I can't think of a time when I've seen Poirier miss 3 from 5. He was under extreme physical pressure, and sadly it didn't work for him.
Alexander Wolf having a great run. He really needs a couple of good results to get him back into the top 3 of the German team. He's competing with Mickey Grice to cement his position in the German relay. Eckhoff goes clear, 5 out of 5. There aren't 2 Eckhoff brothers racing, by the way. That's a fault on the caption. Hannavold clears his 5th target, coming back better at standing at the moment than he is at the prone. Same problem as Bjorn Dahlen had last year.
Sheresov, remember, he moved up from 38 to 11. He's missed 3 targets.
Well, we've seen some big climbers. Villamo of Italy, Mike, a big faller on the occasion today. He's hit all 5 on that first standing, but he's out of the top 10. Remember, Villamo started in 3rd, his first ever podium run. In fact, his first ever top 10 result, but he hasn't managed to double up with another top 5 today. This is Bjorn Dahlen. And these are his fans. Now, Rico Gross, what does he do that the others don't do, or is it just, it's purely a mental aspect?
It has to be, and it is. He does practice. He has a discipline of holding his rifle, as many of these do in the evening, just holding it steady. But it's belief. For what, 8 years he's been on average in the top 2 or 3 best shots on the tour.
Well, Rico Gross keeping the German hopes alive, lying in 3rd position at the moment, just 41 seconds down off the lead. He won't give up a chance of winning this one. Fischer has really closed down, started 13, up into 6th position. 0-0-0 on the range so far. He's only a minute 18 off the lead. He came from 10th to 1st in Oslo. Can he come from 13th to 1st today? Certainly it is still a possibility, but I think the bookies would not give you too good an odds on Bjorn Dahlen. because he's extending that lead. 38 seconds now. Still skiing very easy. He has certainly changed his approach in the last couple of days. The beginning of the season, and particularly in Oberhof, 100% on the first loop, and it was getting worse and worse and worse as the race went on.
You've got to hand it to him. He is a thinker. Last week, as you say, he having to push so hard to try and make up time, and it was tripping him up on the range. This week he's been careful in the early stages, and we'll see Bjorn Dahlen have an amazing final lap ski time.
Well, just while we've got a moment, quick word of thanks to Gary Wilkinson and Duncan Bourne, who've sent in emails. And Gary Wilkinson wanting to spot the left-hander, saying, why aren't there any left-handers? But in fact, we did identify a few yesterday. Alexander Oss in the start list today, but he's way out the back. We haven't seen him. And then Duncan Bourne saying, why haven't the biathletes switched over like all other disciplines, and why don't they race the top 30 in reverse order in the individual, the time trial events? So I've got a supporter there, Mike.
You have, don't you? You have indeed. It may well come one day, and one day soon. But I think it's because biathlon prides itself as being a world sport. There's 49 nations do compete in biathlon. How many other sports can we see such a coverage? And you have to develop. Biathlon are looking at developing smaller nations, so let them in on the party, let them in on the racetracks to see the best.
I still don't buy it. I think you've got to be very careful that you keep the success running. At the moment, I think they're a victim of their own success. Fields of 120. It takes over an hour to get them all underway. You've got to keep it intense and fast, just like this pursuit. And I really think if they put the top 30 last, then everyone would know when the action was about to start, and you've got 45 minutes of all-out action. Well, here come the chasing group. Sven Fischer looking determined. Mike, something else that Duncan Bourne said, just to come back to that topic of starting methods, why don't we have a second wave in the mass start, starting maybe a minute behind, and take that minute as the penalty rather than not racing at all? But I'm not sure the ranges could cope with that.
You couldn't. You'd have too many people on the course. You could have a second wave, which maybe isn't televised, but that would have to be after this event has finished. And 6-7 years ago, that was the case. A number of times I had the opportunity to start in the second wave, and it is good. You're on site, you need to race, you need to keep in race form, so the other 60 athletes who didn't make it today, they have a day off. Effectively, they can't access these tracks. I think that would be a good thing to reintroduce.
Okay, here we go again, the last shoot of the day. Bjorn Dahlen, as you can see, has a lead. 36 seconds at the last split time. 37 seconds he's extended that to. Now.
Listen to his breathing. He's gasping for air.
Watch how many breaths he takes in between each shot. I think that is good enough. 36 seconds he had when he came in. He's only going to lose 25 at the absolute maximum as a result of that one miss. And the Norwegian coaching team, well, they can start to smile, but as we saw in the women's pursuit, a win cannot be quite affirmed as yet. Now, Berger has to go clear. He will be quick, there's no doubt about that. ridiculous speed, but Berger clears 4 out of 5. Now there is a chase on because Gross, I was just about to say he should clear the 5. Good enough possibly to hold on to a top 3, but Vincent Defrain has a chance to come through. What an outstanding run this Frenchman's had. He too suffers. Now Fischer to move into the top 4.
Look at Poirier, he's desperate to pull some time back. Last shot.
Paid the price.
It's 4 out of 10 shots missed in the stand.
Sergei Rozhkov going well. Started 9th today. He's gone clear on that last shoot. So has Chepikov. The two Russians. Excellent form from them. Egor Hieland will keep his place in the World Cup standings with a good run here today. Defram Mike in 4th place, 107. Just a second between him and Rozhkov. Chepikov another 5 behind. I think Rozhkov still has the edge on Chepikov on the skiing. But Sven Fischer, if he puts in a finish like we saw in the relay, then he could well move up into the top 4 positions. Hieland 1:16's got to get on the heels of Fischer. Poirier 1:25 behind. I'm not sure we're going to see him chase. I think that gastroenteritis has really knocked the stuffing out of the Frenchman, and he's starting to suffer now.
Well, he's got 9 seconds to catch Hieland, and I'm not sure he's going to do that, or he's got 11 seconds to catch Fischer, and even the great Poirier, I don't think he can do that today.
Now, surely we're not going to see a faller on the last leg, as we did in the women's event. Xing Lang Liu, heading for her first ever World Cup win, fell with just 500 meters to go, handing the victory to Olga Pilieva. Such a sad situation. Pilieva, well, she snatched her opportunity, as any athlete would do. But you can't help feeling a huge amount of sympathy for the Chinese.
It was very sad on the final 400 meters of the race to fall, have a 10-second lead, and to lose your lead by 1 second. This man is absolutely amazing. He is rewriting the history books. He's modest, he's friendly, although extremely serious. And you have to be serious. If you've got 5 gold medals and 1 silver under your belt at the Olympics, and so many World Championship, 15 World Championship medals, a lot of them in the team events, but and now his 4th, well, he hasn't finished yet, but potentially his 47th victory in the World Cups. It's incredible statistics.
What I like about Bjorn Dahlen is he's obviously got a huge natural talent, Mike, and you wouldn't get this far with a massive VO2. The efficiency of his cardiovascular system, second to very few people in the world, probably second to none at the moment. But what I really like is that he's a thinker. It's not just about hard work. His success doesn't come from going out and doing hours and hours of skiing. He's always looking for ways of improving, and I love the story about him as a kid, practicing his balance on the tightrope in the farm at home, hour after hour on one leg, and it's paid off. You see him balanced on the ski, and he makes it look so easy.
He does. He did try, again, sometimes the trying different things can trip you up. Remember, last year, Bjorn Dahlen went to altitude a lot, and that was his undoing. He didn't have the same race form.
Well, we can discuss Bjorn Dahlen and Poirier forever and ever and try and work out which is the best in the world. Bjorn Dahlen gets another star in his book today with this performance. Berger, an outstanding run. 34 seconds down. He's not going to make the chase. But the run for 3rd, 4th and 5th looks as though Rico Gross has made a break from the pack. 54 seconds down, holding off the others. He's got about 8 seconds in advantage. So the top 3 positions pretty much decided. Gross has gone from 6th up into 3rd. Berger's gone from 5th into 2nd. Bjorn Dahlen started top, stayed top. But what about 4, 5, 6, 7? Only 2 seconds separating them. And then you've got Poirier just a few seconds further back.
Look at Chepikov. He's passed Defran since the range. The biggest mover I'm seeing is the young German, unbelievably, Michael Rusch, from 43rd up to 19. That is a lot of credit to that young man.
Well, he started, Mike, 1:57 behind. What's his time?
2:29.
2:29, so he's lost a bit of time, but has shot well to gain ground. Any clear shoots on the day? Not in the top... just one that we can see, Sven Fischer, 20 out of 20, and he's gone from 13th up into the top 7 when he left the range, but he's gone ahead of the number 9, Sergei Rozhkov, and it is the sort of finish we were expecting from Fischer. He has got one Rico Gross in his sights, and he wants 3rd place.
Well, he's not happy with 4th. Look at Sven. Can he catch Rico? I'm not sure he can, but I'll tell you what, he's giving it everything. Look at Chepi as well. Chepikov likes Antholz. That's where they're going next week. And he's coming back into form.
the two old men going together. Wonder how many seasons we're going to see Chepikov on the tour. Maybe stay for Torino next year, and then surely he'll hang up the skis and go back to an easier life in Russia.
Quite amazing, isn't it? He's motivated himself now over 22 years in biathlon from a junior, and still way up top today, moved into 5th place. Chepikov. This is where the Chinese athlete Zhang fell, but not for this man.
Still looking a little bit tentative. It is a very icy part of the course. Bear in mind these skis have no metal edges on, no grip when you corner, so it's all about little step turns or skate turns if the conditions are good enough. But today, just a question of balance. Bjorn Dahlen is through as expected. 18 shots out of 20, the best pursuit shoot that he's had this year, and he wraps up his 2nd successive win, takes his tally to 47 World Cup victories, better than anyone else in cross-country or biathlon in the history of the sport. What a legend. Looked so easy on the day. 2 misses in all, but he really wasn't phased by that, stayed relaxed, and the biggest improvement, Mike, is his prone shooting.
He's been more deliberate. Before he lets the trigger go, he's getting comfortable and making sure he's happy before he releases the trigger.
Lars Berger coming into the stadium now as we switch behind to Sven Fischer, who looks to have given up the chase on Rico Gross, but Sergei Chepikov coming through. Berger, popular as ever, loves biathlon, could be one of the world's best cross-country skiers, but he likes the occasion here. Rico Gross surviving in 3rd place, started 5th. Doesn't add to his tally of 3 pursuit wins. He is the world champion in this discipline. Gross gets 3rd on the day. Sven Fischer, well, he was threatened by Chepikov, but the timing of Chepikov's sprint wasn't quite right. Fischer holds him off. So Germany 3 and 4. Chepi of Russia in 5th position. 6th going to Rojkov, and 7 to Vincent Defra, who has finished ahead of his teammate Raphael Poiret for the first time this year. Poiret dropping from 2nd down to 8th, one of his worst races of the season. Berger, huge great grin on his face, delighted with the way things have gone. Comes from Donbass, just to the south of Trondheim, right in the heart of the Jotunheim, Mike. Great area for mountain touring, not so much biathlon, but obviously heads up to Trondheim to train with a number of the top Norwegian athletes. Good finish from Stian Eckhoff, who's got a bit of a sprint on with the number 12, which is Alexander Wolf. And it looks as though the German's just going to sneak it. Yes, he does. Wolf gets into the top 10. Eckhoff in 11th. But bear in mind, Eckhoff started 26. He's had an excellent run today.
Eckhoff was caught sleeping there. Look at the young Schlesinger again, proving it wasn't a fluke yesterday. 13th. Fantastic for the Czech Republic.
Wolfgang Rottmann, the best of the Austrians. I think he'll be a little disappointed. Held his ground, though. And a good run from Jay Hackerman. Despite mistakes, he's finished in the top 15. I think that's his PB for the season. And he's now consistently, Mike, finishing in the top 20. Could be a threat next year at the Olympic Games.
Look at this, 16, 17, 80. Grice, Rusch and Graf. That's pretty good for Germany's future in biathlon.
Suman up into 20th position. Sherazov, who looked very, very good in Oslo, put in some good performances there. I think we've still got a couple of seasons before Sherazov produces his very best. But with the likes of Kruglov, who's a youngster in the Russian team, and Sherazov, I think 2 or 3 years' time, they're going to be contending along with Germany and Norway for top honours. Lars Berger of Norway, another sensational run from him. For me, he's what biathlon is all about. Take the risks, blast your way around the course. One day hit loads of targets, the next day miss more than you hit. But he brings a certain atmosphere and a certain a fun aspect to the game.
And a danger aspect as well, as you say. He's willing to take the risk. He will shoot fast regardless. And today, when it works, he did miss 3 though. When it works, he's on the podium.
Bernbach, a disappointing run for him. He finished his 31st last year. He went from 27th up into 9th, but he's left that sort of a climb to Mickey Roche, who's gone from 43rd, finished in 17th. Jeremy Thiele outside the World Cup points. Thiele will be very disappointed with that. 31st yesterday, so he missed it by 1. 34 today, so he's missed it by 4. But better news for Jay Hakkinen, who's gone from 30 up into the top 15.
The Slovakian, Hurat, remember last year he was on the podium a number of times before Christmas. Sadly dropped down. He did pick up points yesterday, but down in 35th today.
Tough race for the 60 men involved today, in fact 59, because Bergman of Sweden decided not to race, was going to start number 60, decided it wasn't worth his while. He's saving his energy for the next race on the World Cup Tour, which is in Antholz, the highest altitude venue for the year, and over the longest distance, 20 kilometres. 48 hours to recover, Mike. It's not a lot.
Well, you imagine the last, since Thursday through to Sunday, 3 competitive tough races today. Travelling, the Norwegians will stay here tonight. They'll travel tomorrow, so you lose most of the day with the travelling, although it's only 3.5 hours to Antholz. And then you have to unpack and get your skis out. So really one day just to get a feel for the new range and the new environment.
Well, all these men will be taking part in Italy, Antholz, the next venue. Bjorndalen on an absolute high. 2 successive wins to win another 50 World Cup points ahead of Berger today, with Rico Gross in 3rd. Further down, well, a whole host of Germans in the top 10. Stian Eckhoff, a great recovery. 26th, up into 11th, just 2 targets missed. And a clear shoot, once again, for Julien Robert of France. 25, up into 19. The only other clear shoot we've seen so far coming from Sven Fischer. Alexander Oss, Mike, back from the Europa Cup Tour, 3 misses, up into the World Cup points, which no doubt will satisfy the coaches, but I think he'll be disappointed with his run yesterday, down in 48th. But all in all, excellent race, great occasion, brilliantly run by Rupolding, but it is this man who's come out on top. Ole Einar Bjorndalen, unbeatable today.
Well, this man is the master of biathlon today, and 47th win in all-time records. Unbelievable.
His form isn't in question. I think he must take some credit this weekend for changing his tactics, which when you're one of the best in the world must be hard to do. But he said, right, I've got to start steady and build the speed as we go on. Maybe he's learnt a lesson off Germany's Sven Fischer, who's been doing that for a few seasons now. The last 2 races, it's paid off. Bjorndalen has saved something for the end. He didn't need the sprint today because he shot 18 out of 20 and he's come home 37.9 seconds clear. Rico Gross 51 seconds down, but in 3rd place. Another 42 valuable points.